Good afternoon. Welcome to the Software Engineering Institute's webinar series. My name is Shane McGraw, and I'd like to thank you all for attending today's webinar. Our webinar series presentation today is Emerging Technologies for Software-Reliant Systems by Grace Lewis.
Thank you, Shane. Okay, before I start talking about emerging technologies for software-reliant systems, I want to talk about some general computing trends. The reason I'm talking about these is because I think it gives more strength to or rationale for why I believe the emerging technologies are indeed emerging technologies. You can also think of these as requirements that are being placed on organizations that build software systems or that acquire software systems. And I'm going to talk about these. There's a slide for each one of these, but in general, it's loose coupling, global distribution of hardware, software, and people, horizontal integration and convergence, virtualization, commoditization of technology, end user empowerment, large-scale data mining, low energy consumption, and multi-core and parallelization. So I'm going to go now to slide 8, where I'm going to start talking about loose coupling. The typical computer science definition of coupling is a degree to which a system element relies on another system element to perform its tasks. What we are seeing in systems in general is a push for two types of coupling. The first type of coupling is between capabilities, or you can think of them as data, the people that produce the capabilities or produce the data, and the people that consume that data. So, for example, in the service-oriented world, it's that separation between the service consumers and the service providers. Another type of loose coupling that we're seeing is between the system elements that contain the capabilities that are exposed and the interface to those capabilities. Service orientation is also an example of that, where you have a clear separation between the interface and the capabilities, such that as long as you have a standardized interface, you can access those capabilities from pretty much any type of consumer. So this push for loose coupling, for being able to access data and capabilities from anywhere and from any type of device, is leading to a big implication for systems, is that we have to find ways, and we are finding ways of standardizing the interfaces to capabilities as well as a way to describe those interfaces, so that the connection can be even looser between consumers and producers of capabilities and data. Another computing trend, this is not an emerging technology, but a trend, as I said before, is globalization. And I think that it is clear. I mean, just from looking at the webinar attendee list today, I can see attendees from multiple countries attending this webinar. So it's definitely, globalization is very clear. How are software systems being affected by globalization? Well, first of all, software systems are many times built by multinational teams, driven by cost efficiency and other things. Also, many organizations use offshoring as a way to reduce cost of software development. There are countries around the world, such as India and countries in South America, where this is a common practice. Also, another way in which software is being affected is that if you think of organizations such as Akamai, would be probably the one that comes to mind. These are organizations that whose business is to offer large-scale caching for organizations that are trying to deploy their systems worldwide and want to make them accessible worldwide. So the implication that this global distribution has for systems is, the first one is more of a people implication, which is that you have to have greater coordination, not only of people, but of distributed hardware and software. And from a technical point of view, the implication is that we need to find better technologies for things such as fault detection and recovery in highly distributed systems, because parts of our system are going to be often beyond our control. The third trend is horizontal integration and convergence. For those of you that are not following the slides, I'm on slide 10. And it's a move from what I call vertical to horizontal integration. So vertical integration is the type of integration that we're more or less used to, in the sense that when we acquire a solution, a single manufacturer provides us the platform, the middleware, the applications, and what we buy from a vendor is typically a solution. What we're seeing now is more what I call horizontal integration, which is that it's using an idiom, it's the free-for-all idiom, where applications are expected to run in any middleware, and any middleware is expected to run on any platform. The typical example, for those of you that are smartphone users, is horizontal integration is when it's almost an expectation that, for example, if you look up an address using your smartphone, then you immediately want to be able to invoke a map application. And from there, you immediately want to be able to invoke, for example, a restaurant application or a restaurant finder that maps the restaurants onto the map or something along those lines. It's almost a given. So, and what happens with horizontal integration is that you're almost, as a user, you're expecting applications to exchange data pretty much seamlessly and without much effort. So the implication that that has for systems is that you have to be able to, you're going to have to expose APIs at both the middleware and the platform level that are going to enable this horizontal integration and convergence.